Howdy YouTubers, Nathan's in the house. Well, he's actually in the garage today, but I wanted to walk outside. I heard thunder. It's looks like a little storm coming, but I thought I'd post this video anyway because I know some people have Ford Explorers, and if you have a V8, 5.4, 4.6, a lot of times you get into manifold problems. The bolts break off, and you have to replace them, and it can be a really just a tedious job. But I'm going to show you how I got my manifold bolts out and everything. And I honestly didn't think I was going to get them out, and I was so excited. I thought, well, I'll share my video and perhaps help you guys out, and maybe at least give you hope. We all know what happens when you take out these manifold bolts down here, and some of them twist off and break, and you can't get in there. That means you have to do one thing, and it is pull the head, and we all don't want to do that. So in some rare cases you may have to if the bolts are really bad, but I'm just going to show you how I did my bolts. Now, let me get down here on the bottom. I'm taking the last one out right now, and you can see I got my vice grips on there. And let me get the light set up for you a little bit better, and you can kind of see it's setting there. With my little easy out, I guess you call it. Let me show you what these look like here. I have these. I've had them forever. These little guys here. They grip on the ends, and sometimes if the hole isn't right, if you don't have the right size, you can file these down a little bit and make it work. Now here are my stud bolts that I took out. Manifold bolts. Got most of them out, except there were 3 that were still in there. And you can see these are the 13 millimeters bolts. Now 2 of these studs, the heads broke off. I have a little welder. I just welded a bunch of weld on the end of it here and got some vice grips and gripped them and worked them back and forth, and they came loose, believe it or not. And here, I have another one here somewhere that I welded on, but I think I threw it away. But this is the idea. Let me tell you, I have a little 110 welder I've had for 2 years. I bought this thing for $100. And let me tell you what, that thing has been a lifesaver. And let me give you some advice. If you tinker with cars, go out and buy you one of these because, you know, I'm not sure what brand this even is, but there's a look at it. This thing has been a lifesaver. It really helped me out with this manifold, and I only needed it for about 10 minutes. Okay. All right, so here's what I did. Now, if you notice, I have all this room down here. And let me get the light kind of set up for you guys a little bit better here. Bear with me a second. A lot of times you can't get in here. There's no room whatsoever. It's tight. And this manifold sits right down here on the frame. But look at all this room I have in here. I can go in here and get my hands in there. And let me go up on top. And look at this. I have all this room in here. I can work around. I did pull the dipstick out. Oil dipstick. It's right here. I slowly got it out. I had to tap it out, but it came out. And that gave me some extra room. And, let's see. And I think I pulled this hose out of the way right here, vacuum line out of the way. And I just have all this room. Now, the trick is, to get all this room, you have to take out your bolt on your motor mount. And here it is. It's a big bolt that sits right there. Let me put my hand in here. The bolt goes kind of like it goes in there like that. I put a roll long extension and went back into there and broke it loose. And you can see how high the motor mount's setting up now. And I have about 4 or 5 inches of room here of clearance. Now, granted, when you jack it up, take your shroud off. I didn't take mine off because my fan blades are plastic, and I just kind of bent them back a little bit. They flex. And you can see the engine's up about 5 inches. Okay, so now we see I've got all this room in here where I can get in there and take the manifold bolts out and all that, and I'm using 13 millimeter. In order to achieve this clearance, what I did, I took a jack, and I'll have to lay here for a second, and a block of wood, and I propped it up right under the oil pan. Oh, let's see, I hope you can see that. There we go. Just kind of lifted the oil pan up a little bit on the front edge there so it doesn't really bend it. And once you do that, this will lift. Let me get back up here again. This will lift this side of the engine up where you can get in here and get all this clearance. And this is how I got the manifold off and all these bolts. Now, granted, like I said, I didn't think I was going to get this one out, but I'll talk about that here in a second. I don't want to make the video too long. Oh, I know what. And the manifold. Let me show you something here. And this is what I was talking about earlier, about the manifold. About the welder. This welder has saved me so many times. Now, here's the manifold I took off. Of course, we all know these stud bolts, they never come out. You just can't drill them out. I don't care what people say. Some people show videos on here on YouTube on how to drill these out. And they have, you know, they do it. They're successful. But me, I just took a grinder and cut a slice in the side of it and just knocked it out. Same thing on that side. I cut a slice in it right here. Knocked it out and got me a stainless steel rod kind of put down in here and welded around this, built it up, took the grinder, grinded it down, and look at that. Looks just fine. And I apologize, I moved my bolts. I was going to show you what they look like when I cut them off. So that's how I got around that, because this is a stupid design. You cannot get these bolts off. They're impossible. They just snap right off. So what I do is typically just go to the farm store and buy a long bolt, nut and washer and stick on there, and bolt it back on. And the beauty is, if you ever have to take this manifold off again, you don't have to deal with this again. You just twist the bolt, let it break off, and just replace it. It's better than having the stud break off in the manifold. So that's the deal with that. Now back over here, get my knees here set up. Not as young as I used to be. I went out and bought a drill bit kit, because I have some other bits here. They're not all that great, but I wanted to have a backup. Now I did break one, so what I did, I stuck my drill in there. And if you don't know how to drill into steel, I would advise you to watch some YouTube videos. There's plenty on here. And I actually had to go back and do a refresher, because I've forgotten a few things, because, you know, we all forget. So I drilled a small hole in that, tapped it, and I'm using this guy here. And let me tell you what, when I broke that bit off in this thing, I thought, I'm done, that's it. But I just took another bit and drilled into it a little bit farther, just enough to get something like this in here. And this is how, oops, this is how I got this out. I'm just totally tickled. I'm shocked that I got this, because I seriously thought I would have to pull this head off. I thought I was done. But the motor runs great, and you're watching this first time just like me. Get this out of here and take it out. And this is how, you know, this is nothing new, I know. This is how people have been taking bolts out of manifolds and heads forever. But this head is aluminum and the bolt is steel, and thank goodness they don't bond very well. And there it is. If you look closely, there's my bit sticking in there. I broke off. This is what you get into sometimes. That's why I heard the light. So I wanted to actually see this myself. Oops. And there it is, the bit sticking in there that I broke off. And I'm just simply using a guy like this to get the stud out. So I don't think my camera's focusing right. But there it is. So this saved me a lot of time and hassle by taking some patience here and just kind of doing it right, and got it out. And hopefully you'll have a success rate like I did. And here's some of these other guys. I don't know what they're called. I'll have to look it up online. And I even have these guys here. They're left threaded. You get it. You shove these in the hole, and you turn it, and it will take the bolt out. I find a lot of times if you tap these, when you heat them up a little bit, like I did here with this welder, a lot of times these will expand and contract, expand and shrink, and eventually they'll just come right out. So I hate doing this kind of exhaust work, but I had no choice. But that's how I got this out. Let me see if I can get that out real quick out of this. I have to stop the video camera. Okay, now let's go outside before we wrap the video up. And here is the guy that I kind of used in there. And here is the bit sticking out. It went through. I was all excited. I thought, yes, I got it through there. Then as I was pulling it out, it snapped. So, but there's the hole I made. And you tap these down in there. And I actually like these pretty well because they have the tapered edges. if you look closely, I don't know if the camera will pick it up, but it grips as you turn it left, counterclockwise. And that's the whole point of trying to turning this left to get it out. So, but anyway, like I said, I am just totally shocked I got that out. This is going to save me so much time. I'm actually going to go out and, you know, celebrate today. I don't know, but so I just want to make a quick video. I don't know, somebody might use this video. And actually, you know, I would suggest if you have to work on your exhaust, find your motor mounts and see if you can move your engine up a little bit, a few inches, jack it up a little bit, because if you have a clearance problem, this will take care of it. And there's the Y pipe, the top of it, and I should have no problem whatsoever putting this manifold back in. Like I said, I'll just go buy some bolts for about 10 cents, and I'm good. So there you go. Just you know, jack front of your engine up sideways, take one of the motor mounts out, bring it up, and when you do that, when you bring your engine up, just verify that nothing is going to hit, and check, make sure your hoses don't separate or anything like that. But I've done this a few other times in the past, so there you go. That's about it, guys. So the only other suggestion I have is, like I said, if you have to drill, if one of these snap off, see, the reason I had to drill this out, this was snapped off inside the block, inside the head. The other bolts were sticking out a little bit, and I could actually get a pair of vice grips on there, and I could actually get my welder and tack welded some extra on there to have a bite, because before, when I put the vice grips on there, they just would spin around because the outside of this is pretty smooth. I even tried a pipe wrench, no clearance, but once I did this, put some weld on it, it popped right out with those vice grips. So, all right, I know I've talked enough. So, there you go. I'm going to go ahead and put the manifold on tonight, and I am so excited. I've got all that out, and I don't think you can see the front, but all the bolts are out, and this is going to save me so much trouble. Oh, by the way, I did get gaskets. I had some gaskets for this manifold, this particular 4.6 and 5.4. Oh, the video is going to be too long now. Oh, I actually had some stainless steel bolts. I didn't know I had those. Oh, that's cool. Good, I have some new ones there. Here are the gaskets, the manifold. They're very simple to put on. You can get all 8 for like $10. I think I used 4 of these on another vehicle before, a Mountaineer 4.6. And here's the 4 I'm going to be using on this side. Very easy to put on. So, okay, I'm going to end the video. Getting too long here. So, thanks for watching, guys. And good luck. And if you're going to jack your car up and you want to lift your engine up a little bit to get into your manifold, be careful, okay? So, that's enough. I'll talk to you guys later until my next project. Have a good one, and stay safe.